Alright, everybody, welcome back in. This is another Stormgate cast, and this is starring Grimstar Friend XP123. Last time I cast this game, I thought this might be Elf. This is not Elf, this is NoveaStar. NoveaStar, woo! And who's she playing this match? She is playing none other than Aureil Stormgate. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Shout out to both of these two. Pretty well known in the community. Aureil, of course, organizer of many community tournaments, probably the most tournaments organized by any one individual for Stormgate by Aureil, with the possible exception of the Alpha Navigators Cup by, what was his name again? Adimo or something? I can't remember. He hasn't been organizing tournaments for a few months. But shout out to the Alpha Navigators Cup. That's where I started casting myself. And also, there will probably be a 0.5 tournament from Frank and I coming up. But I'm going away to Europe for some time. And that means I won't be able to host tournaments. So expect that maybe end of July, early August, and we're hoping to coincide that with some kind of map maker contest. Argent and Brute meet each other, and that's because the new map maker is super cool. We've already seen a bunch of really cool maps out of it. If you've checked out my channel, you maybe saw the free-for-all a few days ago. Folks are working on 1v1 maps. I've seen some beautiful 1v1 maps. Only problem is no Stormgates on 1v1 in the map editor yet, and that's gonna... We've seen some maps. They're mostly no creep maps because folks have been embracing that creeps have been removed. I still kind of like creeps, and I think there's still room for some creeps in this game. In particular, I'd really like to see vision camps come back. Creeps around the health camp are cool too. They used to do that in Warcraft 3. There was creeps there. If the creeps wouldn't attack you, you could go heal. And then if you wanted to fight the creeps, you could, if I remember correctly. And the creeps at the health camp were usually big nasty dragons and stuff, if I remember, or something like that. It has been a couple decades since I played Warcraft 3, so I may be off on that one. So far they haven't, there's been just tiny skirmishes between these two, but they've been focusing on their macro. Aureil's now pumping out a few more Argents, as you do at this stage, getting ready for the Stormgate.
Will activate soon.
Now this Stormgate is way closer to Novea. They say that these Stormgates are supposed to be equidistant, but that's a lie. That's because they measure the Stormgate's distance from your main, not from your natural.
Has appeared.
Oh, I love how Novea's got her fiends looking for units, but she's found the units. The units are actually in her base, killing her imps. But nice body block. Trying to body... No, they were on move command. I thought they were trying to body block the Argents, but the Argents got out in time. And a single Brute had been left. That's not enough to take a Stormgate, but add the Fiends in, that might be enough. I don't think you get the debuff on the Stormgate from the Fiends, but the Stormgate does get captured. And we got a Freyan. Considered one of the best units from the Tier 1 Stormgate. Already our meta is adjusting. You can also get the Cloner Boy, but unless you're teching up to Dragon at Tier 1, that's not... It's gonna sit in your base for a while. This allows you to put an attack on right away. And Novea moves in, drops an effigy. A single Argent goes and kills the effigy. And Novea uncertain if she wants to commit to fighting that creation chamber. Instead, pulling back and heading to the Wellspring and then rotating around. At the same time, Argent's moving out. This could be very bad news for one or both of them, but I think it's bad news for Aureil here, as this base is going to go down. Gaunts take it out. Argent starts showing up, but they're in a parade. Now they're in a ball. That's how you want them. Another effigy going down to keep them on Shroud. And this battle's going the way of Novea. She pops another effigy and is doing a good job of maneuvering her units so that they're staying together. Strike Node in the back surged up. Guardian Nexus goes down. That's going to reduce the armor on all these buildings, make it easier to snipe. She's going to take out a Creation Chamber. And then re-engages the army. This is really good for her again. Taking out these buildings with the focus fire actually is going to make it easier to fight the army. It looks like she's taking time to like kill buildings, but really those buildings are going to steal her aggro. We see her brutes chasing the Argents back while the Gaunts and the brute take out that strike node. And now what, are they going for the arc ship? Arc ship's pretty low. Aureil's doing a good job of holding here, but he's losing buildings. His army's staying alive, but his buildings are going down. Another Guardian Nexus down. Arc ship down. These two Creation Chambers are going to go down, and despite being able to hold right here, he's not going to have the production to keep turning out Argents, and soon this is going to overflow him, overwhelm him. More Gaunts, more brutes showing up, and see how they're just focused on taking out these buildings.
A Stormgate will activate soon.
Another Stormgate's up, but this, I think, is a devastating push. No, Novea's going to pull back. That was... Aureil calls GG nonetheless, because that was very devastating. Good game from Novea. Alright, welcome back. We're going to do a twofer again today. This is another one starring NoveaStar. She's on her main account this time, not her silly Grimstar account. And who's she going to be facing off this match? She's going to be facing off none other than Zugzwang. Hello, Zugzwang, and welcome to the channel. I don't think I've cast you before, unless you're also on an alt. Probably Grimmy or someone. Zugzwang. I like that name because it reminds me of the classic orc. What were they called? Peons or something? And they would say Zugzug when you click on them. Zugzug, Zugzug. So Zugzwang reminds me of that. And if you are really old enough, you may have played Warcraft 2, and you know there is a great disco song called Why Do You Keep Touching Me? That also features the Zugzug. So Zugzwang is doing what we've seen Celestials do since they were first brought into this game, which is fly your arc ship across the map, build proxy buildings, and just go for it. This might be a go for it kind of game. As these Argents, we saw these Argents were also loading up their energy on the arc ship earlier. They've pushed out, and that first brute has already been taken down. Novea is pulling back, trying to get enough units to deal with this. That brute's on move command because he's rallied, but finally, one feat gets taken out. But Zugzwang pulls back to his power bank. Ooh, strike node. I mean, they're link nodes still. And that suggests that there might be a bit of a tower aggression here, or tower contain. We don't see Zugzwang moving out yet and doing a little bit of building a automatic concave here. All that's going to do is force Novea to stay in her base. She hasn't actually expanded yet, so she had made a pretty safe opening, which is why the initial pressure didn't do anything. And she's going to push out and find out, nope, 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 nope. Do not want to do that. Runs all the way back. He could start making effigies to spread, yeah, there we go. Spread the shroud out of her base a bit so that her units can heal up quicker. And I love the patience she has with not making the base, and then vice versa for Zugzwang. Zugzwang's like, I'm here to deny you bases.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate
I thought
soon.
he might have made a base here. This is the normal natural. but is instead trying to contain and actually sending 4 Argents to go to the Stormgate. I wonder if 4 Argents
A Stormgate has appeared.
is enough. We'll keep an eye on that, because this is something that I think we're going to have to figure out in the meta. If a Stormgate is being uncontested, or you're able to contain your opponent like this, how many units do you really need to send to ensure that that Stormgate gets captured? These 4 Argents look like on the Stormgate number 1 are going to do the job. They've almost got it done. So, one answer we got there is 4 is enough. Now the question then remains, is 3 enough? Maybe 3 were enough. I think 1 is not enough. 2 is probably not enough. But we know that 4 is. So 4 Argents do it. Creeping Horror. Horror. There's 2 syllables there. Thanks to Bayo for reminding me that. And Novea has made a Hellborn. That used to be the answer to this kind of contain. We'll see if it still is. Strike nodes are up now. But we also have the Argents pushing in here. Some good Argent control by Zugzwang to try and pull back the weak ones. Ooh, we get a lash in on the Creeping Horror. And that means it goes down. And now its Argents are starting to peel away. It's Fiends and Phantoms. Remember, Fiends and Phantoms, that's something that Argents aren't that great to deal with. That first strike node is going down. There isn't 2 more strike nodes in the back. But the Hellborn, the single Hellborn has been doing her job. That's what she's there for. Which is to put down the damage on the strike nodes. Maybe even the Hellborn could get up on the high ground down here. Can no longer hit air, so can't hit that arc ship. But Zugzwang, the steam in Zugzwang's contain and push is starting to drain out, and especially now that a base is going down for Novea, there hasn't been a second base yet for Zugzwang. He's just been on full Argent production, as well as these strike nodes, to try and keep this contain up. And also remember, lost that Creeping Horror, so didn't necessarily gain the benefits from that Stormgate that he had captured. Another push in with some Morph Cores above. Now Morph Cores are actually not great against most stuff, but they're okay against Gaunts. The Gaunts also have their aggro on the Morph Cores instead of the Argents, and the Archips being pulled in here to do the same thing, to lure the aggro of the Gaunts. Watch this, the Gaunts are on A move, and what are they attacking? The Archip, not the Argents.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
And the Argents pull in, try and get on top of the Hellborn. The Hellborn goes down, but the Gaunts were able to get some damage. A couple more Gaunts go down. Archip's still doing fine, but floating back, so it's not just going to take massive damage from the Gaunts. Stormgate is going to be contested by Zugzwang, but Novea is still trapped in her base. So it looks like a second Stormgate is going to be won by Zugzwang, and the question then becomes, what's he going to get out of it? Now he's used 4 Argents again. That worked the first time, but I think the second Stormgate has twice as much HP, so he pulls back some more Argents wisely. There's some pattern here. Obviously it fills up, and then this fills up, but then it's something about these runes too, because when this last one fills up, you still need a few more shots, it looks like. Let's see it. That rune filled up, but you see it still needed a few more shots. So after you see that rune fill up, don't immediately pull back. Wait till you see it actually activate. But we did get that activated, and we got the, what is this guy called? The Vile Lurker. Who's a really good siege unit. Starts by taking out effigies. Now Novea has a little army there, and I think she could push out with it. It's not exactly... Oh, we got another Weaver. Lash the Vile Lurker. Yes! Gets the Vile Lurker. And that means she's able to pull back to her safety again. Not having to worry about that siege unit. And it looks like Zugzwang's being a little impatient. Maybe wants to push in again. Still hasn't expanded. So now that Novea has been able to get her natural saturated, she's going to have a greater income. And she's been doing a great job of defending so far. So she just needs to build up and eventually push into this. And I think she will be able to have this. Unless Zugzwang is also going to expand behind this. But nothing yet from Zugzwang. Here she comes. She's going to go for that first strike node. Focus fires on it. Doesn't quite get it as she pulls back. There it goes down, and now she's kind of got a good arc for her units. There is a nice concave for the Argents, but even the Argents are balled up on the left. Instead of spreading out, they're in full retreat. Strike nodes are all going down as there's just enough Hellborn here to put real serious single target damage down. And likewise with Argents, there's just the Argent ball left now. And it's retreating, trying its best, but even just these Brutes and Weavers are going to be enough, and that's going to be GG from Zugzwang.